Hey, I'm Elisa Johnston with Average Advocate, empowering everyday people to change the world. I'm being asked a lot of questions about what's going on at the border with immigration, especially with all the asylum seekers. And I think it'll be a lot easier if I just say it in a video so I'm not messaging people individually as much. I'm not an expert in this field. I know stuff over the years. I've gained a lot, but I will definitely refer you to other people who know a lot more than I do. I spend a lot of time reading what they say, and they know a lot more than me. So yesterday I went down to the border area and volunteered, not really particularly with one organization. I found a sign up through one organization, but I've been messaging people a lot throughout the past week as hundreds and hundreds of people come through the border, and I'm just getting all their, a lot of these aren't like even really necessarily official nonprofits. They're just like grassroots organizations or like community development organizations in San Diego, and they're like, oh, we need help, and I'm seeing their pictures in different areas, like more in East County. There's like, just encampments of refugees, and then, on this side, where I went yesterday, it was pretty much like a stopping point, like a building where people were just being dropped off on buses, and hopefully they were hoping to find some sort of next step. So in answer to some of the questions that have been being asked, why are there a lot of migrants coming? Nobody particularly knows. I know that there was a big change that happened in May when the COVID and Trump, the Title 42 came down, which essentially meant that it's legal again to seek asylum, which is something that we've committed to as a country in the Geneva Rights Convention, to allow people to seek asylum in the United States, which essentially means that if they're fearing persecution or for their lives because they are pretty sure they're going to die, they come here. So it doesn't go to people who are refugees because of like poverty or things like that. Asylum seeking is a different process than the refugee process, but we just call refugees like anybody who essentially needs help and they have to flee their country. But technically they're different, and they're actually legal statuses. So the people that are coming in right now, high numbers of people getting turned away at the border, just so you know. That's good to know also. It's not like we're just letting everybody in, but the people who are being let in are people who are asylum seekers, who they think that that for some reason or another they probably qualify to be running for their lives, essentially because of violence or threats of violence or persecution, religion, race, gender, all sorts of different things. I've been hearing for the last couple of weeks, a bunch of people are coming in, and it could be like, why now versus, a couple months ago. And there was like an upswing then, but right now there's just a big upswing, so much so that the infrastructure is just like, whoa, 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 we can't handle this. So that's what I've been seeing online. So yesterday I went down there and, based off of different organizations, like desperate cries for help, like bring food, come volunteer, just be here, and so I walked into a building with my friend, and they're like, you're here to volunteer? Here, sign up here, and so I'm like, okay, and I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? They're like, well, we're trying to get people from this place where they've all been dropped off after they got into the country, and we're trying to get them somewhere else. The problem is that not everybody actually has a somewhere else to go to. Like, I talked with one man from Sudan, and he was like, I was like, well, do you have a next step? And talk is like, you're using Google Translate pretty much most of the time. Although actually this guy did speak English, which was helpful. But he's like, but I'm here. And I'm like, but where are you going to go next? He's like, I'm here. And I'm like, you can't be here. I am so sorry to tell you, but the government does not just let you sleep there on the lawn right here at this random building, so, and he was talking about like how the frustration of him and other people that were, seeking asylum, and they're like, but we got here and now we don't really know what to do. I'm like, yeah, well, we don't really know how to help you either. I mean, there's a lot of organizations that do help with that type of thing, but they're just so overloaded. And, even all that, there were 6 organizations, I think, manning the building that I was at yesterday. And they, like, we're in a conversation with the people. They're like, yeah, we don't know how to deal with refugees. We don't know what we're doing. Does anybody know how to do case management for asylum seekers? And I'm like, I might have a connection to another organization loosely that does, but they're probably being overrun also. So anyways, and on the other hand, there are a lot of those people who come into the country because they have a destination. They have friends or family or, a connection somewhere else in the country. And so, trying to get them moving from here to there as quickly as possible. And so my job most of the time when I was volunteering was to sit at a table with a random computer and try to help people make plane tickets or bus tickets to their next destination. So the person I was helping was from Senegal and didn't speak a lick of English, and I don't speak a lick of Singalian French, and I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. And so he and I had we're using Google Translate, and I'm trying to be like, well, do you have any funds? And there's somebody that he knows in the Netherlands who is going to pay for his flight from here to Memphis, and I'm not really sure why he was going to Memphis. He kept showing me this address on a piece of paper, which was for a refugees center. But I don't know why he's going to Memphis. Maybe he has friends or family, but I don't even know if I talked to the same person on the phone in the Netherlands, but I talked with three different phone calls. I don't think they were the same person, of a man, trying to get their credit card in the Netherlands to work on a U.S. flight, which wasn't working, and trying to schedule him a flight to get, we could get him to the airport. If we got him to the airport, then he could fly out, and then it's just one person, less of hundreds, and I spent 3 hours going back and forth, and eventually I was told to call somebody named Yaya and tell them that he needed a plane ticket. And I'm like, does Yaya know I'm calling? So it was, I shared the story with a few people, and they're like, wow, that must be so discouraging to be like, you're just working for a long time trying to get somebody help from one stage to the next, and you don't necessarily get them there at all. And you're like, well, yeah, but on the other hand, one person who is moving in the direction that they're going is one person that is not, sitting in a building waiting to move to the next space. But in the meantime, you have all these encampments around outside of San Diego and at the border of people who are just coming through because they are legally allowed, because they're fleeing for their life. And then in reality, they don't have any food or water or know how to work or what. They just don't know. And so until that can lessen, or it can, more systems can come into place, there is desperate humanitarian need. I just spent some of the time wiping things down with sanitary wipes and picking up trash and cleaning things, because honestly, that can become a health hazard very quickly. So anyways, there are needs for volunteers, and I will be sharing those later, of different ways you can sign up for that. There's lots of organizations that are taking any funding to just pay for food or water. Like in this location that I was at, there were a lot of people that were actually from Sudan or other Islamic countries. And so because of that, they only eat certain types of food that don't necessarily have certain types of meat in them. So there's definitely caution on that side. And I know that there's been other refugees from Ukraine and Russia, there's dietary things that I don't even think about. But if you're, starving, you eat whatever, but you might just end up only eating granola bars. They were grateful for whatever they got. But at the same time, that is, if you are donating tangible food, to be like, can everybody eat this? And, a lot of people are eating top ramen because most people can eat top ramen. So anyways, just another thought to throw out there. So I will update you guys with ways that you can donate or help. But I just wanted to tell you about my interesting experience yesterday working with refugees. And I think I'm going to go down on Friday morning again, not really sure where, because I'll have my baby with me that day, but we'll see what happens. But there is a big need, and I just wanted to let you know what was going on. And please share this with whoever you think would find this useful information. All right. Bye.